I hate bad real estate agents. Honestly, it's one of the things that irritates me most in our industry. So, why do so many people choose bad real estate agents? So, we're gonna talk about that as well as the qualities you need to possess as an amazing agent.
Mortgage rate are affecting our market. We all know that. So we'll show you how on the real estate backstory today. My name is Ming Richardson. I am the compliance broker for Maximum One Realty and Realtor Partners.
My name's Alan Richard. I'm her partner too. And so we are going to jump in here and start talking about mortgage rates. So mortgage rates have come down. We're going on like 9 weeks
That
straight,
is
eight, nine
great.
weeks. And so mortgage rates are really getting much closer to the 6.5 point right now. Now, always that's going to be very dependent on what everybody's credit's running, that kind of stuff. But we are seeing mortgage rates continue to fall. Not incredibly fast, more like a herd of turtles, but they are moving in the proper direction. So we're really glad to see that. Uh, there's also been a lot of folks in our industry talking about where are they going, what's happening with interest rates, that kind of stuff. And so, you know,
According to real estate and brokers, we think is where it's going to make people happy is around about 6 to 6.5%.
yeah, those in the mortgage industry are looking at it to be, by the end of 2025, between 6 and 6.5%.
And builder and construction industries thinks the same way, 6 to 6.5.
Now the landlords, they think that it's probably going to be 6.5 to 7. But
You mean the investors?
investors, well, landlords and
Yeah.
investors, yeah. And then overall, average Americans basically feel like interest rates are moving in that 6 to 6.5 range, and we think that's the right place too.
Well, this is the right place for the current environment
Well,
and
and
market we're
rate is
in.
a weird word
Yes,
because what we really mean is we agree that that's where we feel like it's going to be. So the bottom line here is that the lower the rates go, the more people are willing to jump into a market.
absolutely.
And so, we've kind of reached a little bit of a tipping point though, where we're seeing more people jump in because even though rates aren't in the threes and the fours, where I think a lot of people wish they would be, those rates were artificial, right?
They were artificially inflated, and what
Or
most,
deflated, yeah.
deflated. And what most people don't understand is that during pandemic, those rates were created by the government. So what happened is the bank normally borrows money from the government, and the government charged the bank 0%.
Yeah.
Zero.
And then on top of it, they went and bought a bunch of mortgage-backed securities, MBSs, which really kept that low. And so none of that's happening now. But
I don't think there's going to be a time where U.S. government is not going to charge the investor an
well,
interest rate of some sort. So I don't foresee it. Now, I could be totally wrong, but once again, that's why we got those incredible 3 to 4% interest rate
yeah.
at that time.
But our crystal ball just doesn't have that happening. What is happening is like life, those kind of things,
Yes.
and interest rates are where they're at, and so suddenly a lot of our consumers, our borrowers, 6.5 is like that's a pretty good rate.
Reasonable.
They're like I'm not going to say they're excited, but
It's
they see that is a number that they can work with, and so we're seeing more people jump into the market because of it. So just this past week mortgage demand went up by 20%.
so 20% more average of people are applying for mortgage right now.
See, it's not just, like when you look at what's going on, mortgage demand is up 37% from the very beginning of the
Mm-hmm.
year. In addition to that, Redfin tracks a lot of buyer activities, and they're showing their activity is up over almost 5%. And then showing time, which we all use showing time, it's up 13. The number of views and people
Requesting
scheduling and
showing.
scheduling up
Right.
showings, that's up 13%. So we are seeing a lot more activity jumping into our market, and like we feel that that's really good. But we like getting to our main topic here,
Why do
you know
people choose bad agents?
right, and even though we're having a lot of activity going on, one of my pet peeves is when I see really good consumers, really good buyers and sellers work with a moron, work with a goober. I'm sorry, I really shouldn't say bad names about folks within our industry, I'm not naming any
What?
kind of names or anything like that. But we've seen sometimes incompetent people represent our entire industry and make us all look
I
bad.
wouldn't say entire. We have a lot of
Oh no, no,
professionals.
no, no, no. I mean, but the incompetent people end up representing a lot of us, and so people make memes about us and they make jokes about us, and they associate us with different other sales industries and things like that. But part of this comes to, we need to kind of understand, like, like what are consumers looking for, that kind of stuff. So there's a recent study out there, and there's actually nothing that groundbreaking about it. It says that over roughly half of all consumers, buyers and sellers, hire the first real estate agent that they talk to face to face. And so, like I
Well,
mean,
that maintained a very
yeah.
important step because it's the beginning of relationship building, and so what does that tell us? Many people are thinking, "Who do I know?" instead of who will do the best job for me.
Well, and that's exactly for, but there's so many agents and they just focus on being first, first appointment, first contact, first meeting. I want to be first. And don't get me wrong, vitally important, right? Because
First impression.
a lot of our buyers and sellers are going to go with the first person they meet. So it is absolutely an important step. However, um, that doesn't necessarily negate or prove that the average buyer and seller is trying to use the person who's going to best represent them. That's just the first person that they meet face to face, right? And
Correct.
they aren't putting a connection between choosing my agent and like the value that they're going to bring to me in this transaction. And so as long as this is the main thrust for so many folks in the real estate space. Great teams, great agents, amazing realtors, good brokerages. They're all going to have a hard time. They're going to lose clients to knuckleheads and to goobers and wannabes. And so I think that on one hand, we the good agents have to make sure that we're paying attention to this, but also we got to be looking at really
What are
like
some of the pain points for the sellers?
yeah, yeah.
Why? What do they worry about when they hire a real estate agent?
Well, the number one thing is
My agent will charge me too high a commission
yeah,
rate.
yeah. That's
So, and I know for a lot of them, they look at the percentage and the sale price. Are like, that's too much. That's more than what I make in a couple months. But what they don't realize is that we do a lot of marketing in the back end, and not only that, we only earn income when it closes. So it doesn't behoove us not to serve you best.
well, and see, here's the bottom line though. When we start talking about compensation, and first of all, I do believe that we need to talk about compensation, not necessarily commission, because compensation is that's the
That's how we
result
make
of,
a living,
right.
just
But
like everybody else. They
yeah,
got to support their four walls, and also there's a lot more. I think back of the ground thing going on, and that we're following up on, checking on, do our due diligence. That we don't tell our clients all the stuff we do in the back end, and there also are expenses up front that we put out, and sometimes may not obtain any
yeah,
returns on those. So those are things that we need to do. And as a real estate agent, not every real estate agent gets a full what you see on a paper because in the state of Georgia, realtors and real estate agent has to hang a license with a broker, and a broker sometimes take a piece of that, if not a set amount of that compensation.
yeah.
So the agent don't always get exactly what you see on the paper.
Right. But really, the big kicker here is that compensation should be based on the value that you bring to a
Correct.
transaction. We need to talk about the value that we bring. And so, we've done recent masterminds and these kind of things, just trying to educate agents on the fact that we need to be talking about the value that we bring to the transaction. If the only thing that mattered to consumers was compensation, then everyone would sell their house for sale by owner.
Correct.
And the bad part here is that if everyone did, the average for sell by owner sells for $95,000 less than the average agent assisted. So obviously, we're bringing real value here, and so yes, we need to be able to talk about our compensation. There's a lot of folks that don't want to bring up compensation, and you're missing the mark. You have to address it. It's the elephant in the room now, right?
And
So
also, some of your seller feel like us real estate agents don't put enough time marketing the property. So let me just advise you as an agent, when you talk to a client, make sure you outline all the stuff you're gonna do
and then do it.
And also, not only that, keep in contact with your client once a week.
Yeah,
Okay.
communication is huge for our sellers out there. A lot of our, um, especially on our sellers on that side of things, they're very concerned about how much time you're spending. Are you going to make more money on this than I will? Are
Mhm.
you going to pressure me? See, all that is part of that byproduct of I didn't choose you because of your skills and quality. I chose you because you were first.
And also that somebody
Um,
recommended without do some due diligence on hard questions.
so again, we have to be promoting
Hmm.
what we do in the real estate space. When it really comes down to, I mean, like even though first is vitally important, the absolute number one reason why someone chooses a real estate professional is
Trust.
trust.
If they don't
Exactly.
trust you, they won't use you.
It really does come down now. For a lot of folks, they can build that trust on that initial meeting. It doesn't necessarily that they build competency. Now, in the same poll here,
It
uh,
is interesting. They said only 4% worry about picking a bad agent. So,
well, I can
you
see that. I mean,
know,
everyone thinks that they're a good judge of
oh,
character and
yes,
that kind of stuff.
absolutely.
I get it, but like that's a really small worry for consumers. Like only 4% think that that's something that they have to be worried about, and so that to me says that a lot of our consumers don't know what a good agent does. They also don't know what a poor agent doesn't do. Right.
Correct.
Now, I think that this is a great opportunity for good agents, for good realtors. Um,
The thorough consultation is important because, spend some time with the client, know exactly what they want, and know what is important to them. Because when you address those issues, guess what? You put them at ease. Not only that, they trust you, and not only that, they know you heard them.
mhm.
Okay, so a lot of time people feel like they're not being heard, and therefore they kind of feel like they're being pressured to do something that they
Or
really,
abandoned, yeah.
and that the agent's only looking out for their best interest, not the clients.
So, what do you, as a real estate professional, need to do to be competent?
First
So,
of all,
yeah, let's start off here. Communication.
correct.
Strong communication skills really are a must. The way that you're communicating, whether we're talking about marketing, marketing properties, marketing yourself, and then being able to build that relationship. We talked about trust. That trust doesn't happen if you don't have a relationship. So that
Or
those strong
communication.
communication skills are just absolutely vital.
And the next one is local market knowledge. If you don't know the market, it is hard to advise your client what the market's doing.
But
So
real estate's hyper local, right? I mean, if you go to Sandy Springs, you go to Griffin, that kind of stuff. It might be in the same state. I mean, so that local market knowledge, you have to know your market, and so get out, study the MLS, look at properties, that kind of stuff. It's so important. Uh, the th-
next is integrity and honesty, because if you can be honest with your client, even though it's not the answer they're looking for, at least you have full disclosure and allow the client to make that decision how they want to proceed.
if they see that you do something that is not honest, or that if they see you making shortcuts, that kind of stuff, they won't work with you. I wouldn't want to work with you either, kind of thing. And so trust in real estate is really a big deal. A lot of folks miss out on this. We teach a lot of new agents, and they're always like, what about this and what about this? Look, the most important thing here is trust, honesty, integrity, how you carry yourself. It really is crucial that you are the, the kind of person that they can truly trust, that's going to take care of those kind of clients. So
Negotiation skills. So,
another one, yeah,
if you can't negotiate your compensation, what makes a seller think that you can negotiate
that's such a good
their
line.
their worth, the
Right? If you can't
house
stand up for
value?
yourself, how are you going to stand up for them? Right?
Right.
Well,
So this is something you have to, you know,
grow, learn.
grow and learn, and also reiterate back to the seller. So I'm negotiating with you because that's how I'm going to negotiate with the upcoming potential buyers and
Yeah,
their agents, and always looking out for your behalf.
yeah. Good agents also are really good problem solvers, and I don't just
Correct.
mean like you should be good in math. You should be good in math, but like
Yeah.
real estate transactions get very complicated, and sometimes it's not just about price. There's so many different elements that
Correct.
goes into a transaction, and so understanding that we are problem solvers. We're door openers. We make these things happen. If you just kind of throw your hands up and get frustrated in a transaction, you're not gonna be successful. So we have to be really creative problem solvers, and also care enough to really fight through sometimes tough issues on there.
And sometimes it's about communicating with the other side. Say, hey, what is important to your client? Let's see if we can work this out. If you don't do that, 9 out of 10, your client's going to feel like they're being forced into something they really don't want, and two, you're not listening, and
Yeah.
that's how you get termination, the pink slip, so to speak, from your client. So just make sure you listen to the pay attention to details,
Yeah.
because those detail matters for the
Well, and that's
clients.
the next one here. Really, is your attention to detail is crucial. You're dealing in a lot of cases with trust funds, earnest money. Like if you mess up the dates on contracts, and like you could cost your
Huge.
clients, I mean, real money. So like, and the way our contracts are written, we don't necessarily write contracts. We fill in the blanks, but those details really matter, right? And you know really smart, well-educated agents know their contracts. They know their contracts left. I mean, take
And
it from the compliance broker here.
they make sure they meet the deadlines.
Yeah,
And matter of fact, storing their phone the day before, the day of, to do an alert so they don't ever miss those
yeah.
deadlines.
And then patience. As a great real estate agent, you have to be very patient. What we hear all the time, and Ming's got a fun line for I'm just not sure. If you try and force somebody into something, that's not the kind of real estate agent you want to be, right? And so our clients, sometimes they may lose deals because they're not really ready to do it.
But
You
it's their
also have,
decision. It's their
but even
decision.
in dealing with clients, like most of us get our business out of our sphere of influence, out of people that we know. And so you have to be, only 3% of our market is actually buying and selling at any given time. So you have to always be going out there and be very, very patient, right?
Right, and like I said, some of the thing I teach my agent is that if you are throwing clients away because their credit's bad or they don't have the funding, the problem is that
They will get it.
you will never get that client. Not only that, you won't get the sphere of that client. So don't discard your clients. Have a conversation. Care them genuinely as a person, because when you do that, that's going to come back to you.
Yeah. Next thing here is make sure that you are embracing technology,
Hmm.
right? You don't have to be a whiz, but there is a lot of tech in our industry that you need to be competent at. And so being able to operate inside the space, to be able to schedule showing time, to be able to use the database, work your CRM, those kind of things, that's just the tools of the trade. So you need to be able to do that.
And also make sure whatever you do, you're always client centered, meaning you're always looking to put their needs at first.
Right, it
Okay.
has to be like if you put yourself first, you are going to lose. This is a give to get industry. It just really is. We have to be like we will spend all of our time right up front. We don't get paid till the closing. And so if you and it's very easy to get focused on that. I'm going to go broke. I don't have any money. I need a closing. And then you get a client and you want to get really aggressive. You can't. It's got to be what's right for the client, or else you're
Absolutely.
not going to last in this industry. And it kind of goes across the board. You have to put your clients first and foremost
Absolutely.
in all that we do.
So it's kind of interesting. I did some survey about asking sellers, say, what will make you fire your
And I
agents?
found this to be so interesting because this is the same study, right? Where they're telling us all these other things, and they said, well, why would you fire your agent? And honestly, I got to tell you, I think some of the consumers should have higher standards, really, because the biggie here, the number one reason why they would fire an agent is if my agent steals from me. However, only 57% of folks would fire their agent if they stole from them.
Well,
I think it should be 100%.
I
You
think
steal from me, you should
the
be gone.
definition of stealing is different. Some people can
No.
perceive
Stealing is stealing. If you, they ought
well,
to
no,
go.
but if they perceive that you are trying to talk them into a much lower price, when you already, as an agent,
Well,
if
no, but
you know,
there's another question on
yeah,
here about that. But this is if my does my agent steal from me? I only 57% of consumers would fire you. I'm just floored by that. I think it should be absolutely
hundred
100%,
percent.
because the next one is they want 56% of your sellers will fire you if you pressure them
To sell a much lower
to sell
price.
or buy high or to sell low, right? Um, about half of folks will fire you if you don't negotiate on their behalf. Remember what we were just talking about there.
What
Uh,
I thought interesting, 55% says that agents don't have a license. I'm just baffled.
yeah, I
I
don't know.
mean, honestly, we can't list anything in MLS without
Yeah, I
licensing.
just don't see that one being that big a deal.
I
Whereas,
think it's a misconception.
yeah, but I
And
mean,
I don't know, is this a national survey versus local in
yeah,
Georgia?
this is
Okay,
national.
so
Yeah,
in other states,
maybe it's
they
just
may
different in other
have a
states, but
time lapse, but here in Georgia, just so you know, we have to have our license in order to be on Georgia MLS or FMLS or any
uh,
MLS
yeah.
systems.
Well,
But
but
I think that was
understand
interesting.
that just about half of your sellers here, or half of your clients, consumers. These are things that roughly right around 50% of them will fire you if you don't negotiate on my
Negotiate,
behalf.
right?
Yep, if you don't market my home effectively, if you don't have market knowledge and are unprepared for what's going on, and
Rude.
if you're rude to potential buyers and sellers or to other agents. Look, that's a big deal because we deal with all sorts of agents out there, and the
We
vast
do.
majority of them are amazing. But we get some that are salty, right? And like that's a big deal. 40% of consumers will fire you if you're late.
Correct.
That's a big deal. So like on some things I think it's pretty eye opening. On others like I think if you steal, they should just
That
be
should be
gone. But the
automatic.
rest of them on here, like it's you've got to be competent. But see, the problem is the consumers are only doing this after the fact. It's after they've got an agent, after they've got that kind of stuff. So we have to be competent on the front end, and so it's on us to
And
make sure we're
y'all
doing a
just
really good
remember,
job.
not all clients are good clients neither. Sometimes you may have a client with unrealistic expectation. If you have numbers that you pull and you already talked to a client, the client decided, no, this is what we want to do. Either you take that listing knowing that you're going to have a struggle down the road, or you can decline the listing and concentrate your energy elsewhere. So there's nothing wrong with that. But I just want you to know, if you take a client that is unrealistic in expectation, expect the road to be rocky, not a smooth one.
Well, but like right now, we need to be reaching out and engaging with our folks. One of the things that we think is really timely, it needs to
Mm-hmm.
happen right now, is you need to be reaching out and telling your clients, especially anyone that bought a home from you in the last year, please file for your homestead exemptions. All tax exemptions, and believe me, property taxes, insurance are both really big deals to our clients right now because there's been a massive rise in property taxes and insurance lately. So this is one of those things like those their all their exemptions has to be in by April 1st. So
Correct.
we don't have a lot of time on this. So whether it's to get rid of the school taxes or whether it's the
So just so you
homestead,
know,
that kind of
certain
stuff.
municipality have an age requirement if you are trying to get the school tax exempt.
Yeah.
Now in Butts County, you do not get exemption. You may
Well,
get a reduction
but
on homestead.
every county is different. We're not going to throw shade on
We're
Butts County,
not, but
no,
I just want you to
but
know
it's just
that in
true.
Butts
But
County, that it's not a exemption; it is a reduction. So
yeah,
you do have to pay the homeschool tax still, and that homeschool tax, just so you know, typically runs by half of your tax bills.
well, okay. So
It is
we
important
won't
if
throw
you're.
any more shade.
We're
But
not. We're not.
it
But
is
if you're
different from county
aged,
to county. You
right?
have to go in and understand. But the whole idea here is now's a great chance to reach out and engage with your clients, not to just like pick on any particular county.
We're not.
So
I'm just
one
telling.
of us isn't.
Well, no, because I had a client that was looking at buying down there, and they're just surprised.
Okay.
So that was kind of
Don't double down.
interesting. I'm not.
Don't
I'm
triple
not.
down. All
I'm
right.
not.
Now, one other timely piece of information we really want to make sure everyone knows here is the
At
Georgia
Real Estate
REC.
Commission,
Yep, they have gone out and they have approved broker education
not
requirements.
for require now.
Okay.
So if you hold a broker or associate broker license, you now have to take 18 hours of broker licensing classes within
Now,
your
now, what
36 of renewal.
classifies that? Real estate schools have to go and they have to get classes approved
Correct.
for broker education. So you still have to have your 36 hours. 3 of it has to be license law. 18 of it has to be
Broker.
broker focused education. Now, right now we have a couple of issues going on because the biggest one here is that this kicks off July
July
1st.
1st.
And so if you try and renew your license after July 1st, you will have to have 18 hours this year.
Hmm.
Now the problem short term is like our real estate schools, a lot of real estate schools are just now starting to get broke.
Applying for broker license courses.
Yeah,
And
and
it normally takes, what, 30,
it can take
60,
it can take a month or two
sometime
kind of thing
90
to get that
days?
approved, and then we
Yep.
have to get it on a calendar, and then we have to get the content written. We may not even have some broker classes done until July 1st. And if your license is renewable, so first of all, you can renew your license early.
2 months.
Yeah. So I would do that if you can in there in that time frame. If not, make sure that you are starting to look for, because we do have like Georgia MLS, I think FMLS, some of the other, there are some broker education hours to be had out there. Please be very proactive about this because Greg don't play when it comes to that.
No.
So
And they will drop your license.
protect yourself, right?
As
Uh,
a broker, they may drop it back to salesperson, but they may drop you as a broker.
yeah. All right. We are doing weekly masterminds every Monday morning at 9:30. And all you have to do is go to max1.rocks/mastermind.
Mastermind.
It's very easy. But we want to start talking about what are the topics that that we're going to be talking about in the upcoming week. So this coming week we're going to be talking about top apps for real estate agents. Like what are the most used apps that real estate folks are using? The week after that, we're going to be going on focus, but the focus is on what
What
makes
makes you
you,
money?
what makes you money, right? Not just about, there's a lot of folks who do a lot of things but don't get a lot done or don't focus on the things that actually are revenue producing. After that, we're going to be focusing on what to do when your listing isn't selling. Week after that, we're going to go through 3 easy steps to get your buyer brokerage agreement signed. And then the one after that, we're going to be talking about,
Growing your business on new construction.
that's it. All about new construction, baby. So we hope that this has been helpful. If we can be of any kind of service, please jump on our masterminds. You can catch all of our continuing education. A lot of those classes are also here on Real Estate Backstory, or you can come live to us. Just go to mx1training.com and check out our full training calendar.
Thank you so much. We hope you have a wonderful day.
Bye bye.